Good morning. I'm Jason Hobbs. Welcome to Jason Hobbs Swapping Stories. So this morning, we're going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to put together a mind map and walk you through what I mean when I say a customer experience path. Hopefully, this will make it a little bit easier for you to understand exactly what I'm talking about, and more importantly, see how you can use this. Oh, man. I don't know if you heard that. I couldn't hear anything but that while driving by, and it's like they creep right. Anyway, okay, so let's go ahead and get right into this because it may not actually take a full 30 minutes to take care of this experience path. But then again, when you get me talking, it can go 30 minutes like that. Trust me. Well, you probably know if you've watched any of these other live episodes. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and when my mouse decides to work with me again. Okay, so this is a mind map, and we're calling it a customer experience path. And we're saying, okay, here's how it works. Okay, so everybody starts out as a stranger, and they don't know you, you don't know them. But at some point, they're going to become aware of you, right? So it may be from a podcast that you do. It may be from a live video broadcast. It may be from a written blog post. It could be from a guest post. It could be you doing you're speaking at a local get-together in real life. Any of these are going to allow them to become aware of you. Okay, so they start out as a stranger, but then they become aware of you. And from there, it's up to them. The next step, so to speak, is that they become an audience member. Now, the way that I structure this is obviously as a stranger, there is no connection to you or to me, obviously. It's your customer experience path we're talking about, so we'll call it you. But they become aware of you through some manner of your attraction content that you're putting out for them to become aware and start to be attracted to you. Now, this can't be all this attraction content has to be about your customer, not entirely and solely focused on you, right? So it's about their problems, their concerns, their issues, their tasks, their goals that they want to accomplish for their business. And your free attraction content, i.e. a guest post, you're giving them a quick win. You're explaining to them, this is exactly how the process works. As far as you're answering a question for them, you're making it easier for them to accomplish what they're looking to accomplish. Okay, so they become aware of you, and I like to call this the attractive stranger, where now they don't really know you that well, and you don't know them at all, but they are attracted to you, right? So you've helped them out. You've given them a nugget of information. You've given them the first breadcrumb, so to speak, to lead them down the path to get to know you better. So when they decide that they're ready to introduce themselves to you, they're probably not going to tell you their life story, right? They're not going to lead with that. So as an audience member, this is when you get them to sign up for your email list. And you keep it as friction-free as humanly possible, in as much as all that they have to do is give you their email address, and then they click the little button, right, to where they say, okay, I want to sign up. And then they confirm. They confirm their email address by going back over to their email provider, whoever they use for managing their email. It could be Safari. It could be Apple Mail. It could be Entourage if they're on PC or whatever. But the point is, they're going to go back, check their email, and they're going to have a link, a confirmation email with a link in it waiting for them. And what they need to do is click that link to confirm that, yes, I do have access to this email address. It was a real one, right? So this starts your two-way conversation with them, because you're setting your expectations for the list. You're saying, okay, and what do I mean by that? Well, email you one time per week. Reply to any reply you make. So, and the point behind that is that you're going to hit, anytime they decide to hit reply to your email that you send once a week, you're promising to, answer it, basically, right? So you're not using a no reply email address for your email newsletter. You're using one that comes back to you. You can answer their questions, get to know them better, help them get to know you better. And a lot of people get caught up in this. Like right now, I have 8 subscribers, which is not setting the world on fire by any means. I'm not the next Seth Godin, right? Or Brian Clark with 100,000 or whatever, or 150,000. The point though is, a lot of people will discount those initial ones. What I learned from Johnny Nastor was you don't want to discount those initial ones. Those are your hardest core fans, so to speak. The ones that find you first, that you help first, those are going to be your hardcore fans. So don't discount them just because there's only a few. That few is how you turn it into a group, turn it into a community, turn it into a huge, overwhelming, taking over the world type of thing. But it all has to start in one spot, right? So and I did this for years. I had, 2, 3, 4, 5, even up to, 20, or even I built a list with like 175 or something. But I never saw it as, I was always looking at, other Copyblogger and, Neil Patel and all these other, big time marketers, that they had a list that was just dwarfed. It didn't even dwarf mine, like made mine look like an amoeba or something, right? And they were a full grown, adult male or what, you know what I mean? I mean, it was just a huge difference. So, there was a disconnect for me because I didn't understand the value of those initial ones. That's how you grow it. That 120,000 people list, or 250,000 people list, whatever, that started at 0. And it became, the first one decided to join, the second one 10th, 20th, 100th. And a lot of the time, it's those initial ones telling their friends that is going to really help the growth happen. So you want to engage. When they want to engage, it doesn't matter that it's not 150 million people on your list. If there's only 7 or 3 or 2 and they're engaging, engage. Answer their questions. Be personable. Give them information. It's going to make your life easier in the long run. Okay, so we have the audience member, and then what happens? Well, now you've gotten them talking with you, right? And you have your cornerstone content on your website, which is really just, you're building information around a specific topic, right? So, and the example I tend to use is probably belabored a bit, but because a lot of people tend to use it, is over on Copyblogger, which is where I learned about, content marketing. And obviously that's also where I learned about cornerstone content, right? So what's some cornerstone content for them? The first piece of cornerstone content was, I think it was copywriting 101. And then, content marketing is cornerstone content. I can't think of any others, but, it's these topic areas, and then they'll pull in all the different, blog posts and articles and guest posts and so forth that they've done around this specific topic, and they'll build a page, a cornerstone page on their site that's dedicated to that term. And then obviously that page links to and displays and, so forth all of the quality content that they built around that specific topic, right? So you have all of these, you have your content on your site. You obviously are doing, which is part of your attraction content, but it's on your site, and then, and it's written. Well, as an audience member, you're emailing them once a week, you're, giving them insights, you're sharing something positive, helpful with them. Then what? Well, at some point, you're going to give them an incentive to join your community. Now, up until now, as an audience member, they're just on the email list, right? So they're not actually logging into your website to gain additional information once they log into your site. So this is when they set up their own, username and password, and they have a specific page. So an example being, okay, a good example. So over on rainmaker.fm, we'll use that as the example. It's when Brian Clark initially launched rainmaker.fm, okay, he did 7 initial podcasts that he wrote and kind of did a voiceover as and all that. He put a bunch of time and effort into those first 7, and then he did 3 webinars afterwards. And what he's done is he's packaged that 7 podcast episodes and 3 webinars, webinar recordings, I should say, because he recorded them, right? So he put all of that, he made it into a course, a free course, but you have to log in order to get it, right? So sometimes it just doesn't want to work with me. All right, so the free course is, they get this stuff by logging in, right? And that's a great way to give people, because you want to give them an incentive. It's not just, hey, you should log in so that I have more access to you. That's not necessarily going to, cut it with them, right? With your customer. So you want to make sure that it's something that's pertinent to them, which obviously, the free course, the topic behind it, the 7 podcast episodes followed by the 3 webinar recordings to kind of expound on the subject or expand on the subject some, there was value for people. So let me show you real quick. We'll go back over and we're going to hop into there we are. We're going to hop into the browser real quick, and we're going to run over to rainmaker.fm. Okay, so you see the training, right? And you saw the free registration button on the home page. I guess I should point that out, right? So you get the 3 how-to webinars with transcripts. You get the 7 foundational lessons, audio and text. You get some follow-up lessons and case studies that are coming as well. And then I'm a member, so I just go log in, and then I'll show you. This is where you see you have the 7 lessons over here to the left, and you have the 3 webinars. And you'll see he had a very specific, he had really good headlines, obviously, for each. And each of them were going to walk you through, certain information, which if you're marketing your own business, this was all pertinent, right? Especially, or it was for me. So that's why they got me to join their community. Now, I later became a customer because I ended up buying the Showrunner podcasting course. So you can see I can access both here. But if you don't want to do that, which, I don't even think it's open right now, but when it opens back up, you can always add that to your, lessons or, your training materials. But then you still, you can go ahead and sign up for the free one. And that's the incentive to join the community, to log in, to set up your own account, and to become a logged in member of the Rainmaker.fm community. And that is when I went from an audience member. That's when I went from an audience member to a community member. So you see the difference, obviously, as far as, you know, the audience member is only engaging with you via email, which is actually a really good thing. Like, that's the closer connection that you're going to be able to leverage on the long term, but you get it first. So, because for them, for your, you know, customer, your audience member, whatever, they're not looking at that as a huge, they don't have to give a bunch of information. They are giving you access to their email inbox, and they will take that away in a heartbeat. If you spam them, if you allow them to forget who you are, what you're doing, why they signed up for you in the first place, then you trust that they will take that away in a heartbeat. But it's really helpful that because, you know, for most people, we're going to evaluate based on your actions. What you tell me, man, whatever, but your actions are going to speak super duper loud. And that applies even with, you know, especially, I guess, applies with email. Because if I'm telling you I'm going to send you one a week, it's going to be helpful and valuable information. I'm going to reply every single time that you decide to hit reply to one of my emails. I'm going to be right there waiting for you. If I set those as my expectations and then I fail to meet them, that says a heck of a lot more than, you know, me putting out all these value possibilities. And, you know, but you're looking at them saying, well, no, he didn't meet the expectations. The actions weren't there. The words were great, but if the actions don't match up, then you're not interested, or you're going to be markedly less interested in that instance, right? So once you have someone that becomes a community member, excuse me, head back over here and share my mind map with you. And see if I can find it. There we are. Okay, so they got me to sign up, and then later you decide to become a customer, right? Now, the little bit of a difference here was I had to sign up for a second list before I could become a customer for Showrunner. So the way that works was Showrunner had a wait list, and then all right, Jason. So it was only sent to the waitlist members, right? So you had to get onto the waitlist to even be able to see, you know, the sales page and all that. And the way that they did that was the waitlist is the list that they set up, and they set expectations as well. But they also do this. So let's see if we can. Yeah, so they still set expectations. They said, we're going to email you once a week. It's going to include the most recent episode, because they email on Wednesday, and their new episode, which they put one out per week, comes out on Wednesday as well. So, you know, they'll kind of fill that in. They'll have some additional, if there's any other, you know, course notes or any new modules or lessons that were added, or if, you know, just really any kind of housekeeping, administrative communication and all is incorporated within that weekly email, along with the, you know, link to the most recent episode of the show, as well as, you know, occasionally they'll have some, you know, kind of bonuses, so to speak, that they'll add into that email as well. Because they're looking, the idea is any interaction that they have with me as their customer, me as their audience member, me as their community member, they want to make sure that they're adding value to the relationship between me and them each time that they make a contact. And that's a really good rule of thumb when you're setting up your customer experience path, because obviously, maybe not obviously, but it goes from here to here, and then it goes from here to here, and then it goes from here to here. And then from there, it's So from there, they decide to become a repeat customer. From there, they decide to become a brand ambassador. And obviously, this isn't, you don't have to flow through every single step here in order to, for it to be right as far as, this is your customer experience path. Every single customer doesn't have to, start out as a stranger, go, to become aware of you, then decide to become an audience member, then decide to become a community member, then, because you'll have some that, if they see you as a stranger, they become aware of you and they say, hey, he or she has the solution that I need. They may very well skip right to community member. Maybe they say, hey, I need to be able to log in to get this free lessons. I want to see if this is someone I want to hire. Boom, they get in, they see it. All right, we're ready to go. I want to go ahead and hire them, right? And it depends obviously on, exactly what your business is, what the service or the solution that you're offering to your customers consists of, right? And it really involves who is your customer and what is this issue that you are helping them with. If it's a very important one that's pressing and urgent, you can have people flow through this customer experience path quicker because they're looking to get to that, the payout, the help, the relief, if you will. So as a repeat customer, it's just that. I mean, it's an ongoing relationship. And I personally consider, if you are a monthly recurring customer, I still consider you as a customer. Whereas if you're a repeat customer, you're going to buy an additional product. So maybe it's not another monthly recurring because you're already, as a customer, let's say that your offer is that you pay this much per month to get all of this value, right? Well, then I'm doing that. And then at some point, maybe you have a one-off, a webinar that like Chris Brogan is a good example as far as like he charges $20 for the live webinars, but he has, just packs tons of information into them. The idea though is that your basic, it's kind of an upsell. Like, what else can you help them with? Because one thing that a lot of people will miss is if you have a customer, a lot of times, not always, I'm not saying every time, but a lot of the time, they're not going to want to look elsewhere if you can offer them the solution and do it with authority. Like if you have an authoritative solution for them in addition to the current solution that they're consuming, then that's a good thing for them. It's especially when you're dealing with small business owners, entrepreneurs, etc. It's hard. You have to build up that trust. They have to trust you. And once they get over that trust hurdle and they're comfortable with you and they're starting to see that you're, saying exactly what you're going to deliver and then you're hitting that every single time, that is going to be, that builds a trust in the relationship and it makes it that much more, basically they want more value, right? They're looking for additional value and that's a good thing. All right, so let me go ahead and come back and stare at you for a minute or two. So what you're doing there is you're moving your customer from stranger all the way down through to brand ambassador. And well, how does this work? Well, you put out your attraction content, but it's just like if you have people over to come over for, a big dinner party. Then what's going to happen is you're not going to just, basically go out and get everyone you possibly can to come and then everyone arrive with you back at your house or wherever you're having the dinner party at, and then start preparing. You're going to be prepared before you make the invites. So you really want to be careful. That's one thing I picked up, and I can't say that he stated it overtly, but one thing that I really picked up from Tony Clark and especially from Chris Garrett, the two mainframe guys, which they're both part of Copyblogger Media, is the big thing that I picked up from them is you want to be prepared on the back end because you don't know. I mean, what if you send out a tweet and somebody with 2 million followers decides to, oh, that's really interesting. Let me share that with my audience. Now, all of a sudden, you have all these people that are coming to your website if you're not prepared to begin that interaction with them, start them down a customer experience path specific to them, then you're not going, then that's all wasted motion. Like, you had a good thing happen, but it didn't really benefit you long term because you weren't able to establish that initial interaction, that initial conversation with these people that were arriving. Not all of them obviously are going to be interested in your solution, but they are all coming to find out more information about you, right? Based on this, 2 million person audience or whatever, this person that has this huge audience decided to share your information or share your content, your podcast, your video, whatever the case is. Lizzie, stop. Lizzie has an ongoing feud with humanity. So if they walk by and they're breathing, whoa, that was not in her contract. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it with that, because not tomorrow, Monday, we're going to come back and we're going to talk about, we're going to do another mind map, and we're going to go through how do you organize your marketing around your customer, right? So you want to have a marketing strategy. You want to have, it's all going to change. It's all iterative. Don't try and, you can't spend forever trying to put together the perfect plan. Trust me, I've spent 7 years wasting my time trying to do that. And now here I am just working through it without an audience, etc., having to build it up after the fact. And I still don't have the perfect solution, although I have a pretty doggone close one, right? Because I know that you have a problem where you need to generate revenue for your business online. There are so many moving parts. There's so many variables in that the fact that, number one, I've been doing it for myself and clients for years, but number two, I have been able to reverse engineer how, a super successful 10-figure business that started out with one blogger now is 10 figures and growing business, Copyblogger Media, how they accomplished it for themselves as well, and how they continue to. It's not like this is something that they have changed up over time. This is something that they continue to do, right? They do it for each of their new products, which their most recent product that they released was the Showrunner course. And I'm sure that, it's not going to be the last by any means. Actually, I guess Showrunner and was the most recent new product, and then they re-released a new version of, or an updated version, I should say, of Teaching Sales, which I've been a member of since 2012, I think it was. Maybe it was the beginning of 2000. No, it was 2012. Yeah, that I signed up for Teaching Sales, and then I signed up for Showrunner. So there's a ton of information that they've been able to pass along, and a lot of it, though, I'll be honest with you, comes free. Like the podcast network, tons of information. And that's really what, and I'm not saying that so that you'll, love Copyblogger. I don't care. What I'm saying is that's a great example, a great understanding for you. They're giving away information, actionable, important, part of the puzzle, part of the big picture information. You want to do the same thing. Don't expect that your customers are going to be stupid and you're going to be able to just give them crap, to draw them in, and that's going to build a long-term relationship. It doesn't work that way. You have to be helpful to them. It has to be. That's why on Monday, we're going to talk about organizing your marketing directly around your customer, because it's going to save you a ton of time on the back end, and it's going to make your life so much easier as you go through the different steps of the process, because you're looking for feedback from your customers. So you build and strategize your marketing around them, with them as the central person, and they appreciate that. I'm finding, I don't have a bunch of them moving through it yet because I'm just getting started, but it's interesting that it's a different dynamic from the typical, website marketing, that type of, coaching relationship type of stuff, because what they want to do most of the time is, I got to scale. I want hands off. I want to be able to, basically set it and forget it type of thing. And that's not what I'm focused on. What I want to do is build personal relationships. And I don't care if it quote unquote doesn't scale, but I believe that it will over time as I grow my team. So, the whole point is I want to do the opposite kind of, one thing that Damian Farnsworth, the guy behind the Rough Draft on the Rainmaker.fm podcast network, he impressed upon me at one point, I can't remember when, and it wasn't like we had a conversation, it was through his show and all. It's like, me and Damian, we're hanging out. but it wasn't like that. However, he impressed upon me that one of the things that he has always done is he looked at it from a standpoint of, if everyone's going one way, I'm going to go the opposite way. I want to go against the stream. And that is the biggest, I think, not the biggest, but one of the biggest advantages that I have right now is that everyone else is trying to do the scale thing. I want to do, kind of impersonal, right? And I want to do personal. Me and you, we're going to talk. You don't buy from me without us having a phone conversation. It doesn't work like that, right? Because I need to know what your unique context is before I can say, look, this is the solution that I would do for you. And then you can say yes, or you can say no. You can ask questions, whatever. We can, tweak it if we need to, but that's the offer. I'm going to make sure you understand it to make the right decision. Not the right decision, but make the right decision for you. Because a lot of times it's going to be, nope, I need this solution or that solution, not the one that you're offering, Jason, which awesome, because it's not for everybody. It's never going to be. So it's 9:01. It's Thursday. This is July 2nd. Have a great 4th of July. Enjoy yourself. Be safe. Enjoy your family. And I will see you on the other side of the weekend. Monday at 8:30 a.m. We'll swap some stories. Have a great one. I'll talk to you soon.